before time began, when the lightning bolt he thrust. Struck the sand. The Bay of Fundy, low tide. The same location, 6 hours later. The magic. High tide. The Bay of Fundy is recognized as having the highest ocean tides in the world. Peggy's Cove, almost heaven? No. Peggy's Cove is heaven.
Hello, my name's Will, I'm from England.
And I'm Anika, and I'm from Australia.
The Commonwealth. We're here and we've just been discussing all of the teachings on the wall, and I think my favourite is don't vacillate. It's something I can always believe in.
Yes.
We've had many a deep discussion.
We have been discussing.
The Tibetan Buddhist assemblage. Stupa of Enlightenment. Gampo Abbey. Located in Pleasant Bay. The highway leading to Pleasant Bay. I'm standing on the white granite rock, Peggy's Cove, Nova Scotia. My address may be in Ontario, but my heart will always be in Nova Scotia, the land where I was born. Margaree Harbour, located along the Cabot Trail.
Hello, I'm David Williams. Liquid water is essential for the survival of all biological systems, including human life. The search for life involves the search for liquid water and conditions which allow life to form, whether it be here on Earth or in our solar system. Life abounds throughout the universe. In the universe, there are an estimated 100,000 galaxies. In each galaxy, there are thousands of millions of stars. Our planet, Earth, is one of infinite billions. 70% of the Earth's surface is covered with water. Bacteria were the first forms of life. Amino acids, carbon, iron, water, and other compounds are the providers of life given to us by the sea. Our hearts begin beating 18 days after conception and will continue to beat 1 billion times during a normal lifespan before our biological clock stops. To ensure continuation of the life form, millions of other life forms will be born on the same instant or second, and thousands of human beings will be born on that very same second. Any one of us depart from this life. All life is beautiful. It matters not the life form. Life began in the sea 100 million years ago. 50 million years later, the first migrant from the ocean crawled from the water onto land and was able to continue living. Seawater is 98% identical to human blood. To survive, we can receive life-giving transfusions of seawater in lieu of blood. We accomplish only a fraction of what we are able to accomplish, finding ourselves strangers to the purpose of life. Ultimately, the answer is within ourselves. But first, we must learn to trust our intuition. Each of us has an instinctive sense of direction, but the vast majority fail to understand where it leads. A life without a purpose is a life wasted. Humans have come a long way regarding their journey from the sea. Most have failed to understand their intuition and do what others want them to do in the search for material gratification rather than happiness, both of which have little in common. There are three groups of people. The first group, the individuals, those who make things happen. The second group, the few, those who watch things happening. And the third group, the many, those who will never understand the things happening. The first group is the peacemakers, the pure of heart. The second group is the users, the opportunists. The third is the programmed, the followers. Knowledge brings freedom, restricted only by reality. Every day is an experiment, providing lessons to be learned. There will be failures, and our failures will most likely be repeated. if we do not learn from past failures. The pursuit of knowledge has no ending. When understanding is known, the next experiment will be provided to us in a higher form. The challenges become less complex as the path toward higher awareness is traveled. The answers become more obvious. The next lesson is always presented to be learned. As we learn, the world will become more humane. We will learn to love, to dream, and to laugh more. Each day will become a day of optimism. Green is the color of the sea, and green is the color of life. The sea is the mother of all life, and only the mother can provide serenity in the acceptance that life has a beginning, a journey, and an ending. The sea beckons us. We must always strive to return to our origin, the sea. When we do go back, listen from the shore for the sorrowful voices calling to us from across the waves. If our lives have purpose, we will hear the voices. The sailor who became lost at sea and never again will feel land beneath his feet. The two ships that passed each other in the night, not understanding that one of the ships was doomed. Not hearing that awful crying after the ship went down. Not seeing the tears that never dried. The Beatuk father who drowned when trying to escape from the hunters. When he was searching for food for his starving family. The infant child who died from hunger and cold 4 days after his father was killed. When he struggled to protect his wife and his children. The mournful cries of the African mother for the child she would never hold again from deep within the bowels of the slave ship, destined to the Americas. the innocents from Africa who were cast into the sea because they became frail. There are so many voices calling to us. No one is alone when they possess pure of heart. The greatest gift you'll have is love. Love the world more, and when you do, the world will return love to you. Even though you will never get out of this world alive, you can return. So then, shall your voice be heard with the others, bringing comfort to they who mourn. And the world will become a better place because you were here. And the purpose will be fulfilled. Thank you.
Before time began, long before the long ago, before the gentle Mi'kmaq roamed this land, Glooskap decreed that Nova Scotia shall remain magnificent forever and always be unspoiled and innocent. And shall be protected for all time by his children and his children's children. And it is so.
Have you walked along the shores of Eskazoni, Iona, Beaver Cove, Shanagadi? Have you crossed blue water to the sands of Washabuck Center, or stand on the peak of Hunter's Mountain in the Highlands, Marguerite? Have you journeyed to the land Glooskap gave us, when the lightning bolt he thrust struck the sand, decreeing these grounds shall bloom forever before the gentle settler tilled the land? He showed us how to live in peace together. He vanquished want and hunger from the land. He saw the few taking from the many. He vowed all corporate plunder shall be banned. Come go with me, take my hand. Come go with me, take a stand. Come go with me to that land where I'm bound, where the air is fresh and clean, the waters are pristine, the forest evergreen, where I'm bound, where the cities do not grow, where the peaceful rivers flow from the wetlands and the marshes long before the long ago, where the stars at night are seen, the meadows soft and green, nature and its wonders are eternal and supreme. We stay younger in that land. There's no hunger in that land, no sickness in that land where I'm bound. No children dying in that land, no mothers crying in that land, no corporate lying in that land where I'm bound. Come go with me, take my hand. Come go with me, take a stand. Come go with me to that land where I'm bound. Will you come and go with me? Will you come and go with me? It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to be free. Come go with me where I'm bound. It's not easy to be free.
I want to read a notice that was posted and circulated in Charlestown, South Carolina, April 27th, 1769. The notice read, "Slave auction. To be sold on Wednesday, the 10th day of May next. A choice cargo of 250 Negroes. Arrived in the ship Countess of Sussex. Thomas Davis, master. Directly from Gambia. By John N. Chapman and Company."
Freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. Over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my own grave.
Birchtown, Nova Scotia. During the American Revolutionary War, 1775-1782, the British Army promised freedom to any runaway slave who fought with the British Army. After the war, in 1783, Navy ships sailed from New York to Nova Scotia carrying 2,700 former slaves to freedom, from which 2,200 former slaves with their families settled in Birchtown. Each former slave was given a certificate of freedom signed by Brigadier General Birch, Commandant, New York City. The certificate read, New York, 21st April 1783. This is to certify to whomever it may concern that the bearer hereof, a Negro, reported to the British lines in consequence of the proclamations of Sir William Howe and Sir Henry Clinton, late commanders-in-chief in America, and that the said Negro has hereby His Excellency Sir Guy Carleton's permission to go to Nova Scotia or wherever else he or she may think proper, by order of Brigadier General Birch. Birchtown, a small community just 9 kilometers from Shelburne, is named after General Birch, a former runaway slave who was able to escape and fought with the British Army. The first coal mine on Cape Breton Island began operation 250 years ago when coal was needed by the French for the construction of the fortress of Louisbourg. By the year 1873, there were 8 coal mines operating on Cape Breton Island. Men were paid from 80 cents to $1.50 a day, depending on their particular job under the ground. Boys who worked in the coal mine underground were paid 65 cents a day. By 1912, the number of operating coal mines on Cape Breton Island was 16 collieries. At that time, Cape Breton's coal production accounted for 40% of Canada's total coal output. I remember when I was a child attending Glace Bay, Caledonia Holy Cross Primary School near coal mine number 3. Coal mine number 3 is no longer. Where it once was is now an empty field. During class, the pupils in the school could hear the mine's buzzer whistle sounding. When the coal mine's buzzer continued sounding without stopping, all activity in the classrooms instantly ceased. The continuous sounding of the mine's buzzer told the community there was an accident underground in coal mine number 3. The children in the school whose fathers were working in the coal mine that particular day would instantly leave the school, rushing home to their mothers. The mothers would then gather their children, and the families rushed to coal mine number 3. where they waited. As a child, I watched mothers waiting, with their children clinging to them, near the mine shaft top, waiting for news regarding their husbands and their children's fathers. I saw the terror and despair in the mothers' faces as grim miners wheeled the injured or dead husbands on gurneys to waiting ambulances. I shall always remember. I cannot forget. September 5th, 1755, in Grand Pre, Acadia, now Nova Scotia, British Lieutenant Colonel John Winslow summoned all Acadians over the age of 10 years living in Grand Pre and the surrounding area to attend the local church. 419 Acadians came to the church, where they were placed under instant arrest and told their farms, homes, buildings, livestock, and or all property owned by them was now the property of the British Crown. They were also told they were to be deported immediately from Nova Scotia. It was the beginning. Over the next 8 years, almost 15,000 Acadians, men, women, children, infants, were expelled from Acadia, Nova Scotia. Very few would ever see their homeland again. Few people would be familiar with the Acadian expulsion were it not for Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. In 1847, Longfellow published his epic saga, Evangeline, basing his work on the Acadian expulsion from Acadia, Nova Scotia. Evangeline Bellefontaine, the young woman in Longfellow's epic, was separated by the British from her fiancé, Gabriel, on the day they were to be married. Both Evangeline and Gabriel were deported from Nova Scotia on different ships, each not knowing the destination of the other. Evangeline began a lifelong search for Gabriel, finding him years later only by chance, as Gabriel lay dying in a Philadelphia house for the homeless. Gabriel died in Evangeline's arms. Evangeline died afterward. They were both interred in a nameless grave in a Philadelphia cemetery. During the period involving the Acadian expulsion, some Acadians were able to hide among the Mi'kmaq First Nation tribes, where the Mi'kmaq people provided food, shelter, and protection. If you want to share the magic, if you want to understand, journey to Minas Basin, where the Mi'kmaq made their stand, where the Mi'kmaq roamed the woodlands before the strangers came to trade, and how they shared their food in wigwams when the strangers came and stayed. How they lived in peace together, the settler planting seed, the Mi'kmaq tracking wildlife, each taking only what they need. Came the dreaded redcoats on tall ships from across the sea. They summoned all the settlers and proclaimed the king's decree. Herding settlers like the cattle from churches to the shore, to ships waiting in the harbor. Acadia was no more. Separating children from their fathers, husbands from their wives, believing that this would be forgotten and that history would conceal with lies. The Mi'kmaq saw and ate it, guiding settlers through the redcoat line in swampland and thick forest, with the redcoats close behind. The Mi'kmaq told the settlers in the cool October air, follow in single line, always practice care, walk in each other's footsteps, barefoot without shoes. The redcoats are following, don't leave them any clues. Don't snap the twigs or bend the bushes, leaving signs that they will see. Soon we will come to Minas Basin. When we cross, you will be free. They came upon Minas Basin, but were blocked by Fundy's tide, with the ocean water rising. They could neither flee nor hide. They could hear the redcoats coming. The redcoats came in view. They knew their flight was over. The redcoats were so many. Their numbers were too few. Spear and arrow against redcoat muskets. They knew they could not win. The Mi'kmaq charged the redcoats. The muskets fired again. And when the shooting was all over, the redcoats dug a grave. They bowed their heads and joined their hands, and farewell prayers were prayed. For 7 Mi'kmaq warriors from the Isthmus of Chicknickdoo, and 14 gentle farmers from the fields of Gaspereau, lying barefoot without shoes, not leaving any clues. If you wish to know the purpose, and if you want to understand, wander along Minas Basin, where the Mi'kmaq made their stand, where the Mi'kmaq and the settler fell, is now sacred and forbidden. They no longer fear the redcoats. Their grave is forever hidden. The sea reclaimed the land. Still, you can hear the Mi'kmaq whisper in the cool October air. Follow in single line. Always practice care. Walk in each other's footsteps. Barefoot without shoes. The redcoats are following. Don't leave them any clues. Don't snap the twigs or bend the bushes, leaving signs that they will see. Soon we will come to Minas Basin. When we cross, you will be free. There, you will know the purpose and how the Mi'kmaq live. The purpose is not determined by what the Mi'kmaq receive, but rather what the Mi'kmaq give. If you want to know the purpose, if you want to understand, journey to Minas Basin, where the Mi'kmaq made their stand.
I want to live and let live. I want the treasure that life has to give. I want to be loved, give love in return. I don't want to lose the love that I earn. Another soul has fled the earth. Another life is through. Friends are gathering at the chapel to say their last adieu. It doesn't matter which path you take. Our roads lead to here. So put on your coat and wear a smile. The way ahead is clear. Don't dwell upon what might have been, the empty years gone by. You want to make each moment last. You only have to try. Be like the sailor far out on sea, or on the distant isle. Hide your fears and dry the tears, and always wear a smile. You'll never know what tomorrow brings, nor the joys that you will find. So unchain your past and don't look back, and leave your trails behind. There are so many mountains for you to seek and still to climb, and so many oceans you will cross. But hurry, there's so little time. So many wonders still to see, so much for you to do. Before your friends gather at the chapel to bid your last adieu. live, to live and let live. I want the treasure that life has to give, that life has to give. I want to be loved and give love in return. I don't want to lose the love that I earn, the love that I earn. I want to live and let live. I want the treasure that life has to give. I want to be loved, give love in return. I don't want to lose the love that I earn. I don't want to lose the love that I earn. I don't want to lose the love that I earn.
Every April, held on the nearest Saturday to April 16, the Battle of Culloden, Scotland, was fought on April 16, 1746. The Heritage Society of Antigonish commemorates the Battle of Culloden. The memorial is held at Knotdart, Route 245, Pictou County. The solemn service at the memorial is followed by Scottish music and celebration at the local community center. Bonnie Charlie Noawa, safely o'er the friendly main, many a heart will break in twa, should he no come back again.
Money's a hat, what brackens wall. Should he ne'er come back again? Will he no come back again? Will he no come back again? Better lived he cannot be. Will he no come back again?
Yesterday I heard my brother cry. Today I saw my brother die. Tomorrow is too late to ask. Help us, Father, we're falling fast. Wait with me until the dawn. My tears are dry, tomorrow's gone. I feel the panic of the night. Was there my brother lost the fight? Help us, Father, we're falling fast. To live with hope is all we ask. Hold me close and ease my pain. I hear my brother call my name. Father, all we ask. Hold me close and ease my pain. I hear my brother call my name.
Stir up the sea, care for the sailor, star of the sea, care for the sailor,
A special thank you from all of us to all the wonderful people we met in Nova Scotia who helped us. We shall meet again. The sea is calling.
Do you want to share the magic? Do you want to understand? Journey to Minas Basin, where the Mi'kmaq made their stand, where the Mi'kmaq roamed the woodland before the strangers came to trade, how they shared their food and wigwams when the strangers came and stayed, how they lived in peace together, the settler planting seed, the Mi'kmaq tracking wildlife, each taking only what they need. Came the dreaded redcoats on tall ships
From across the sea, they summoned all the settlers and proclaimed the king's decree. Herding settlers like the cattle from churches to the shore, to ships waiting in the harbor, Acadia was no more. Separating children from their fathers, husbands from their wives, believing that this would be forgotten and that history would conceal with lies. The Mi'kmaq saw and ate it, guiding settlers through the redcoat line, in swampland and thick forest, with the redcoats close behind. The Mi'kmaq told the settlers in the cool October air, follow in single line, always practice care, walk in each other's footsteps, barefoot without shoes. The redcoats are following, don't leave them any clues. Don't snap the twigs or bend the bushes, leaving signs that they will see. Soon, soon, we will come to Minas Basin, and when we cross, you will be free. They came upon Minas Basin, but were blocked by Fundy's tide. With the ocean water rising, they could neither flee nor hide. They could hear the redcoats coming. The redcoats came in view. They knew their flight was over. The redcoats were so many, and their numbers were so few. Spear and arrow against redcoat muskets. They knew they could not win. The Mi'kmaq charged the redcoats. The muskets fired again. And when the shooting was all over, the redcoats dug a grave. They bowed their heads and joined their hands, and farewell prayers were prayed. For 7 Mi'kmaq warriors from the Isthmus of Chicknick and 14 gentle farmers from the fields of Gaspereau, lying barefoot without shoes, not leaving any clues. If you want to know the purpose, and if you want to understand, go to Minas Basin, where the Mi'kmaq made their stand. Where the Mi'kmaq and the settler fell is now sacred and forbidden. They no longer fear the redcoats. Their grave
is forever hidden. The sea reclaimed the land. Still, you can hear the Mi'kmaq whisper in the cool October air. Follow in single line, always practice care. Walk in each other's footsteps, barefoot, without shoes. The redcoats are following. Don't leave them any clues. Don't snap the twigs. Don't bend the bushes, leaving signs that they will see. Soon we'll come to Minus Basin. When we cross, you will be free. You will be free. If you want to share the magic, and if you want to understand, go to Minus Basin, where the Mi'kmaq made their stand. There, you will know the purpose and how the Mi'kmaq live. The purpose is not determined by what the Mi'kmaq receive, but rather what the Mi'kmaq give. Journey to Minus Basin if you want to understand. Journey Minus Basin, where the Mi'kmaq made their stand.